Okay, there's a lot to get through here. I've had a really amazing week. This is the review of the project, 20th of the 1st, 2019. So firstly, what did I implement from last week? I spoke to the HELIOS Centre, and they're really, I wouldn't say, well, they're not excited, but they're certainly keen on talking to us more about what we can offer with the space that they have, because this is going to be happening. There's a space that they have in King's Cross, which we can hire once a month, and it'd be really good to take that on. So I spoke to them. This enables us to work a bit deeper with participants so that they get a bit further into the work we do, because a 2-hour workshop just gives you an idea, but it doesn't really do much else. Okay, so right, I spoke to Pink Deer. Pink Deer got in touch with me this year, and he is very keen to run a bonobo experience and his work, which is working with plant medicine. We are keen to run it in the Netherlands, and we are going to test it in March with people who are already on the bonobo experience team, and I'll come back to that later because that's new too. But yes, we are really keen to work together and to see whether we can collaborate in running retreats together. So that's wonderful news. I spoke to SANYOSEA, who owns the venue in the Netherlands, and we will talk to him more about costs and hiring the space and how to organise food and how to care for people and all of those things, but that's down the line. I'm not going to worry about that now. Spoke to Queer Wolf. Queer Wolf he runs the Psychedelic Society in Bristol, and he's got back to me today actually around what dates we were going to do it, and he says that we can do it on the 14th of April, and he's asking if we want to do a full or a half-day workshop. So I'm going to speak to Mary, and we're going to really give it some thought about what we could offer for a day workshop. That's why it would be really good to have the HELIOS Centre, because if we've got the HELIOS Centre, we can test stuff there, and then we're confident in running a day workshop. I have the components to run a day workshop. I've run a workshop throughout an 8-hour day before. It's just about scheduling, really, see where we're at. So that's that. Kai, he got back to me again. He asked me, he'd be keen for me to work at the Stretch Festival in Easter, running the workshop in Berlin. However, he was saying that we'd have to talk about content. So for me, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't want the bonobo experience to be at his event, because it could certainly start to take people away from what he offers, and he's not being upfront about it, and I'd like to have a clearer discussion about that, so I'm not making assumptions, but I'm going to shelve that. I spoke to Amanda Gaylove, and we're going to talk about how we can run, because she runs the Sacred Sexuality Tent at Queer Spirit. So I've run it both years, and I ran it with her last year and the year before. But this year I'm not going to run it. I'm just interested in running the bonobo workshops. So that is something that we need to start thinking about. Now, this is the great news. Over the weekend, I put out a call, and over the last few years I've been really sort of paying attention to who would really fit with the bonobo experience, what sort of person, how enthusiastic, what sort of person would suit it. So over the last 2-3 years, I've kind of been umming and ahhing about certain people and considering them, and then going, maybe not, maybe so, maybe not. And I got to a point where I asked Mary, who is running water, Cherish, whose name is Mavon, and man on whose name is Hyena, and they're all radical fairies. We're all very good friends. We all know each other. Some more than others, but we had our first bonobo experience work weekend. I invited them over, they all stayed over, we cooked food, we talked a lot about where we wanted to go. I was very clear that this was something that was mine and I'd done it for so long, but now I wanted to let it go and share it, and I talked to them about how my ego may find this difficult, and so we started to work out ways in which that could be released. One way was Mary was saying that if we set up a new website that wasn't directed to me and my work, but a new website that was directed to the bonobo experience and the people that are facilitating in it, that would help visually, and the mechanisms that operate within my mind around the bonobo experience would start to go outward instead of being in the driving seat all the time. Excuse me. So that's something that I developed whilst we were on this weekend. I started to build a website that enabled us to look at, where we can take this. We developed and took a lot of information that I'd done over the year as regards to the mailing list, and we've built a mailing list. We are ready now that we've got events that we've spoke about and that we're going to do together. We can now implement our first mailing list newsletter so that people are clear that we go to different venues, specifically gay, specifically LGBT, specifically heterosexual, etc. We're going to run these workshops and festivals throughout the year, and what's great is different people can do different workshops in different spaces at different times, or even at the same time. So Summer House and Bonobo and Queer Spirit happen at the same time. So they're going to be something that is going to be, for the first time, we're going to have two running Bonobo workshops running simultaneously, which is fantastic. I've talked about festivals, so we've got lots of things now that we are going to get involved with. So that's Psychedelic Society, it's the retreats, it's possibly Stretch Festival or Gay Love Spirit, it's Queer Spirit. Quintessential is one that we're going to do, which is very tame LGBT one that Mavon's interested in doing. So as you can hear, there's lots of activity, and I'm feeling like first few days after that meeting, I felt a very intense amount of pressure in order to organise dates and get things correct so that we can look forward and move forward. But I know that once this surge of getting these dates finalised happens, and we've spoken to certain people, then I think the stress is certainly going to subside hugely, and we can concentrate on very specific times of the year where we are active and then when we're not, because it's really important for me to rest. I must rest. So it felt good to take the weight off. There's a new energy. I can feel a new energy. There's a group of us now. How do we work as bonobos? What's going to happen when there's conflict? What's going to happen when we need to work out who gets paid for what? How much goes into the bonobo experience to keep it going? How much goes to the orphans in this sanctuary in the Congo? How much? So all of these things are new to be speaking about with others. So that's great. Spoken about my ego. Okay, the holotropic breathwork was something that I was really interested in, but I am going to delay it because I'm feeling that there's lots of pressure. Holotropic breathwork is a non-plant medicine way of accessing non-normal states. That was going to happen at the end of this month, but I'm finding that I can't take all of that on, because on top of all of this, I have got a an art studio that I've just taken on, that I'm going to be paying for, that I need to put effort and time into. And an offshoot of that is I've applied for the artist newsletter bursary, which may get me some money to pay for someone who can be my personal assistant as regards to my specific learning difficulty, which is they can write proposals, they can talk to me about budget, they can help me evaluate projects, they can help me pitch for projects. That is really important aspect of my working ecology. Everything can't be about the bonobo experience. I'm putting a lot into that, and it is an artistic endeavour, and I want to start enabling the bonobo experience to go into art spaces. So it's not just around sexuality festivals, but it also goes into performance and live art. So that's something that interests me. And also I'm going to want to start making things again, because I know that actually practically constructing things, it's really good for my cognition. If everything is just intangible and out there all the time and in text and all of this, it's just going to be too stressful. So I need an outlet in order to remain creative and just keep myself well oiled. And the final thing was Bishopsgate, the LGBT institute that's got all of my all of the artwork from the Justin campaign, so they archive it for, hopefully they're going to be opening a queer, the largest queer art gallery museum in Europe. It's going to be happening in London next year or the year after, and they've wanted to take the work that I've done with the Justin campaign, the anti-homophobia campaign, to that. So I got in touch with them whether it would be possible to run bonobo experiences there. They said it's very unlikely because they're very booked up with space and time and stuff, but it was important for me to put this into this video because I don't want to just talk about the successes. I want to talk about the stuff that's happening that I cannot, that it doesn't work, and just briefly why it doesn't work. And I guess there's the last thing I'd probably want to say is the MA itself is going well, but I'm feeling that critically and analytically I want to get better at doing that. And I think that's something that the Golden Bow's taught me, is that I need something that enables me, because there's so much going on. You can see how much is happening here, but how do I record it? How do I not overwhelm myself? Because each of these events is going to have their own set of circumstances, their own people that are going to get involved. There's going to be lots of data coming in, and I need to just make sure that I'm not overwhelming myself with capturing everything, and just what is it that I really need to boil this down for, so that it's very clear for my tutors and my head of year to really understand that a lot of effort's going into this, and how am I evaluating it and getting it right for them to understand. That's it for now. Sorry it was long, but it needed to be because it's been a very, very busy and exciting week. Thank you.